Hello folks, Jan Montarsi here from Gembox Designs. I'm here today to show you some more ways to use your BlendAngle templates. I have a Facebook page called BlendAngles, all one word. If you'd like to order these, you can go to that Facebook page and go to the photo albums. There's an album there called BlendAngle Store, and you can see each set and the various ways I sell them, along with some other tools, and it has all the prices and shipping information. All you need to do to order is just private message me and I will send you a PayPal invoice. I am working on a website, but we know how those things go. Anyway, today, what I'm going to show you today, my last video I used red and yellow, and red was a very strong color and yellow is a very weak color. And you have to adjust for that when you're blending. And if you watch that video, it's called Adjusting Blends on my YouTube channel. Also, watch the preview video that explains a little bit more about using the templates in different ways. Today, what I'm going to show you, I'm working with black and white. And why I chose black and white today is black and white typically are equal as far as their strength. So when you blend an equal triangle of white and black together, you typically get a pretty even blend from white to black. Let me move up here a little bit for you. You typically get an even blend from white to black. Now, just if you ever want to, if you do a blend in any colors, but say I wanted some more white, lighter area to here, I could just cut myself a strip. Cutting away the excess here. I could just cut myself a strip of clay, lay it on my blend, and then reblend it. That would add more white into the gradient. I'm not going to do that right now, but I just wanted to show you it's that easy with any colors you're working with to adjust the blend. Today I'm going to focus more on the blends you get with the shapes of templates. This large one, well, I'll start with this one and how they come in a set. The full deluxe set is 4 triangles. It's the 2, I'm all thumbs today. It's the 2 mini angles for multiple and rainbow blends. And then the 2 large 150 millimeter blending template, and the 180 is the largest one. The 180 fits the 180 Atlas and the Makins machines. The 150 fits the 150 Atlas and all the other standard smaller pasta machines that you buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby for polymer clay. The 2 minis, and you'll see later in my video, they fit the span of both sides of the machines. You get like 3 repeats on the big one and 2 repeats on the smaller machine. And you'll see more later in the video. Also, towards the end of the video, I will show you how to make a Skinner blend plug without having to. Typically what people do is they stretch their sheet of clay through the pasta machine really long and then they fan fold it. I will show you how to not have to do that using my BlendAngles. This first blend, this is the 150. It's a blend of black and white. You can see my tips are offset so that I get a little bit of pure color at each end. And this blend is pretty evenly gradiated from white into black. It goes totally black about here. If I wanted to, I could, like I said, add that strip of white to it and reblend it a little bit. But for most purposes, that to me is a very nice even blend. Especially if you're making cane work. By the time you roll these up and reduce them, you know, a hint of color difference is not going to make that much of a difference. My next one here, this is the same setup, only backwards because I have my black on the other side. This is using the 180 template. Now, you get a much wider blend. The gradation is about the same, it's just wider because the machine is wider. But the same way. And if you're working, this is just, these were both made with just one triangle of each. So if you're working with this, and you just, this is one medium thick setting of clay. If you're working with this, so that you don't have to fold it over and have your seams be all off, or mush them together down the seam, so that they stick when you go to try to fold them, just cut your blend in half, and then restack the pieces this way. And I do that with all my blends. Now they're stuck together. When you put that through the pasta machine, it's not going to fall apart or spread apart when you push it through the pasta machine the first time. I'm going to take this apart because I'm going to use this later for something else. I'm working with very sticky clay today. All right, anyway, so I'm going to keep my blends off to the side here as we go through them, so you can see the comparison. Now, this next blend, and I'll show you how I cut this one. This is a blend using the smallest mini angle. And what I did is I took a sheet of clay the width of my pasta machine, and you put your angle on there, and you just use that as a width guide. I might need to come over. You use that as a width guide to cut an equal triangle. Okay, so now I have two equal triangles, and this is using the mini. It's just a different way to do it, but you do get a slightly different blend because of the amount of black and white that's so much more at the ends, and the angle of your slope of your triangle. You get a slightly different blend. It's more, there's more white in it. If you can see the two comparisons, I hope this shows up on camera. The white, they're pretty close, but the white is more evenly gradiated to here, and then it gets really dark with the black. Now, how do I put this together instead of trying to do something weird with two triangles like that? I'll put my two triangles together, and like I said, I always offset them so that I have pure white and pure black on each end. Oops, boy, I'm really sticking to everything today. And I'm cutting these in half. And just fold that over. That way they're overlapping. I stretched that a little bit, but that way they're ready to go into your pasta machine, and you're not going to have them fall apart. So this was my third blend. I'm going to leave this on here so I don't lose track of what I'm doing. This is the same setup, but this is using the larger of the two small mini angles. It's the same cut. Same cut. You can either cut your triangles in half before or after you put them together. Like I said, this one actually looks a little better. cut my triangles in half, offset them a little bit, and stack my pieces. Okay, then this is ready to run through the pasta machine. I have so much black and white clay preparing these that I don't really need to make any more black and white blends for a while. So that's my fourth blend. Let me turn these so that they are more in line with what you're looking at. And this one actually has a little more white than the one before it. It stretches a little farther, but it does get a little darker sooner at the other end. And like I said, all these are adjustable. Just add a thin, long triangle of the color you want to increase, and you're good to go. Alrighty, now the next ones. Now you've seen some of these in a previous video, but I'm going to show you again. These are using the mini angles. What this one is, I just needed a little piece of Skinner blend, that wide. That's something that you could use for a landscape type pendant. If you used other colors like turquoise into blue, you'd have a sky color, or yellow into magenta into red, you'd have a sunset color. But I only need a little piece for just, you know, one pendant. So what I do is I take 2 sheets of clay, one of each color, and I usually cut them the width of my pasta machine. And I will use this triangle, and I cut one color, I cut the side. Then I cut the other side to match, and I put them together and make sure they're the width of my pasta machine, or slightly wider. You do have a little excess room with these. And then you blend it. Then after I blend it, my blend is only that way, and the rest of the blend is pure color, so I just cut away that pure color, and you end up with a small little mini blend. This one is making multiple mini blends at once, and that's using the smallest size template, every other one. And you can reverse this so you have black on the ends. It's really the same blend. But you notice here, my points come up past the end. That way I get the pure color in between. I like that for my projects, that light color. It's also, if I'm going to cut this up, that's what I'm going to use to measure to cut my pieces apart. Okay, I did cover that one. This one is also used in the same manner. I'm going to hold them here to make mini rainbow blends. Get this paper off here so you can see this a little better. You know, this is using, this one I actually used 8 colors with, but this is the same setup as that, but using multiple colors. Now, I'm trying to keep this video short. If you watch my 2 previous videos, some of the stuff that may not make sense to you here now probably will. I'm going to move that up a little bit. Now here's my last setup for today. Similar to the previous one, but instead of using the smallest of the 2 mini angles, I'm using the larger of the 2. So basically I cut 4 triangles, 2 of each color, cut 1 in half for the ends. Now, if you look at this blend here, the blend is backwards. On the blend, I have white at each end and in the middle. So I cut one of my whites in half, but I had 2 full triangles of black. Same blend, it's just reversed to how I did the setup. Now, this, on one like this, if I'm not going to do 2 full layers of triangles and stack them on top of each other, if I'm going to cut this in half, I'm going to put this on something like a glass work surface or something a little more stable, because when you cut it in half and go to stack it with all these pieces, they may fall apart, and you can put them back together. But the best way I use to carry, this is on the sticky side of this sheet. I just use a piece of cardstock, typically, to move my clay around. You can slide it under there like a shovel and move stuff. But if I was working on glass, and typically I would probably just make a double layer. This is not, I have very thin sheets of clay here. You can see how small that blend is. And that's basically a number 4 setting on my pasta machine, which is actually my 5th thinnest setting. Anyway, so what I told you I was going to show you at the end of my videos, how to make a Skinner blend plug. Now, a lot of times when you're doing cane work, you have to take a blend like this and run it through the pasta machine and make a big long strip, and then sit here and fan fold it back and forth to reorganize the direction of your colors for a cane. What I do, now I would normally be working on a bigger piece of clay. So I made this setup of a double white and black triangle cane, multiple cane. I'm going to cut this in the middle here. I'm cutting my blacks in half. Right down the middle of the darkest part of my black. I'm going to then stack that on there. And this has a little excess on it. And stack that on there. I'm going to cut this down the middle, which is actually closer to one side. Stack this on here. Cut this in half. Stack it on there. I'm even going to go one more. And then I'll straighten up my ends. So now, I have a totally reoriented plug of clay. And I didn't have to stretch it out and fan fold it. Now normally, I'll straighten this up a little bit. But you can see now I have a plug of clay that is reoriented and ready to turn into petals or whatever components you're going to make in polymer clay in your cane work. I can squish this down some more. You quickly go from a sheet to a plug. That's all I have for you today. I'll have links in the comments to my Facebook page for BlendAngles, all one word. Once again, if you want to order, go to the photo albums, look for the BlendAngle store. You can see each photo has the description of the kit that I sell and other tools. Just private message me on Messenger, and I will send you an invoice through PayPal. Thank you very much, and have a gradient day.